To Inside the Huddle, the podcast that brings you the heart and soul of Rolla Bulldogs high school sports.
All right, everyone, welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Romo Athletics and powered by our title sponsor, Phelps County Bank. Phelps County Bank, they're 100% employee owned. They're 100% community champions. They are bankers by day. Do you happen to know what they are by night?
Winners.
Winners, not bad. Bulldog fans, what I'm going for. We got a whole
Same
bunch
thing.
of those coming up there. Same thing. When you're a Bulldog fan, you are a winner. So go to mypcb.com. You can find out more about Phelps County Bank. Appreciate everything they do. So here we are. This is season 3, episode 69 of the season, and we are joined today at the Taylor Chrysler Coach Talk with Coach Zack Nixon of the Bulldog Golf Team. What's up, Coach?
Not a whole lot. It's a beautiful, bright, and sunny day.
Oh my gosh. Crazy after the weekend where we had that Friday and Saturday. It was so nice and
Oh,
the sun was out and then the snow came
and then it's supposed to be 65 and 80 by Friday.
yeah, just time for your golf match.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, it is. And so yeah, it was a little brisk out there on the cart and yeah, I wasn't quite prepared for that. And all of a sudden, they don't go that fast, but it was fast enough to cause my eyes to kind of,
yeah.
oh man, that's tough.
Yeah, guys are battling through the elements, and
And now we'll just jump on that real quick. So when you're out there and you're out there hitting, I mean, I know from my days when I tried to golf a little bit, I was not competitive. I'm an awful golfer, but out there trying to hit, man, it's like it doesn't quite work the same way, right?
it doesn't. You have a bunch more clothes on. It affects how much you can turn, all those other things in field. But the kids come prepared. They usually have hot hands or electronic hand warmers, and they're just ready to go and ready to play. And they're always chomping at the bit.
And they're young and they don't seem to complain like we do. Well, I'm sure they complain, but
Yeah, I'm the one complaining about how cold it is.
they're just glad to be hitting the ball, don't they?
Yeah.
That's good. Well, hey, let's take a look. So last season, man, you had prior to last season, you had 3 seasons in a row where you finished in the top 3. You had a 3rd place in 2022, and then the 23 and 24 finished second in the state.
Yeah.
Exciting. I mean, just there, and then you had you had some key people back. You lost Chaney from the year before,
Right.
but you got his nephews in
Yeah.
and Chanson. So Chayton Senior went to Missouri S&T, 3-time All-State golfer, I believe.
4-time All-State.
4-time All-State.
And state champ.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So you're losing that. You're coming in last year, and were we up a class?
We went up to Class 5,
Yep.
and then we went up into St. Louis, and they take the top 2 teams at districts, and we actually tied SLU, ended up being the state champs for teams last year, and we tied them. And then it was a really unusual circumstance where you take the top 4 out of 5 scores, and then if you tie there, you take the 5th score. Well, our 5th score is tied as well, and so we'd have a 5v5 playoff, and we were the new kids, and so there was probably 100 people watching or so, and they were all rooting for SLU, and it was heartbreaking
Yeah.
because the kids played their heart out, but we ended up losing that playoff, and so we only got to take 3 to state, and that was where Chayton. He set a record on, I think, second day scoring with 6 under and shot 8 under total and took 4th. So
Yeah, because that was the state record for score for the champion, right?
So they have first day, records, and then second day records, and then total.
Yeah.
And Chayton was second day best.
Yeah.
And so
That was incredible. Because I remember the kid that won it. Who's the kid that won? But I mean, he shot. It was.
I think he shot first day is I think he shot 8 under, 4 under.
Yeah.
And scores are just unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 20 years, and the scores just get progressively lower. It's just, the sport's evolving and changing, and people have simulators, and there's the back 9, which I did want to talk about them. They've been really nice to help promote us, and they've been fantastic to work with.
So back 9, it's a new business here in Rolla up 63 South, and they got it's just like golf simulators all throughout in a kind of
Yeah.
relaxed environment, right?
They've given us some time to come work on Monday and Tuesday mornings. They've been phenomenal, and the owners are they're great people. So
Kudos. Yeah, that's great to have in our community. I know it's a lot of excitement to see a lot of stuff out there by them. I know the basketball team did a kind of a team night there,
yeah,
team bonding thing. So yeah, that's great to see. Yeah.
yeah, it's a great way to stay, up on your golf game and figure out where those golf muscles are before the first day of practice.
Yeah.
So,
So this is in your, I guess, the second. I don't know if you have tryouts, how it works out. This will be like your second or third week of practice, right?
yeah,
And so here we are, and we had last year's season, which again is like I said, disappointing, heartbreak with that district
it's
playoff loss,
it's,
and
it's hard to lose Chayton. It's hard to lose Easton.
Yep.
And then, there was Caden as well. He was another senior we lost. But then what's really interesting about our team is just the culture we have. It's really cool because, Chayton's playing for S&T.
Yeah.
And so the other day we had a putting contest out there. Or we're doing a putting drill, I should say. And we have 13 kids on the team. And Chayton saw that there was somebody that didn't have a playing partner. He goes, "You're playing with me." And it's just, that's the type. He's not on the team, but he still cares about the team. It's just great stuff to see.
because S&T practices here as well.
They do. Yeah.
And so you kind of probably have some overlap a little bit with them, or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well. They're ranked top 30, 30 or under in the nation. They're just doing well. And so anyway, it's just good to see, have those guys out here with us to kind of have something to shoot for. And
yeah, definitely. So let's talk about this year's squad then. Everyone healthy?
everybody's healthy.
Everybody help. Always one first thing I got to ask. We do these previews because you never know what's been going on, and so always look at that. And then, so how about numbers wise? How are we at numbers from where we've been historically?
We've got 13, which is usually a little bit larger than what we have. And, we got a lot of young guys coming out. We've got a huge group of freshmen, which you'll love to see.
Yeah.
And then we only have one senior, and that's Chanson. And he's signed with Mo Western, and he's playing so well. And, he's a
Yeah, he had a great summer, didn't he? And then
He did.
junior AM, whatever they call it.
He's a dominant force. And then you have Chanson, and then you have Dawson and Canner. And then
They are Dawson's is
Junior,
and
and he's
Cantor's a sophomore.
yeah, and they just both been practicing nonstop.
Yeah,
And then we didn't know who our fourth was going to be, and Wilson Giacomelli has worked endlessly, and he's just lowered his scores immensely. And then we kind of have two guys tying off, fighting it out for that fifth spot, and that's Trenton Fitzsimmons and Waylon Chapman. And so that's good to always have that battle just to keep them competitive, have them working harder and trying to get better.
So, and what grades are they in?
They're both juniors.
They're both juniors. Okay. And then
Wilson's a sophomore.
Wilson's sophomore, right? So so you got the young guns. So you got Chanson and the young guns.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's going to be a great season.
It is. That's gonna be a fun season too.
Yeah.
And, especially when because Cantor had a great run last year as well, right?
Yeah.
As a freshman.
State qualifier as a freshman, and then so we're ready. So we can't wait.
I love it. So we got the varsity squad. What do you think the strength of this year's squad? Because again, I mean, you have had some stellar performances. The best 3-year, 4-year span in our history of Rolla golf. So here we are. You don't really rebuild; you kind of reload.
Yeah.
And so what are we looking at? What's the strength this year?
I think one of the biggest things we have is, last year was disappointing, and so what I've really seen is those top 6 guys have just melded, and they know what they want to do. They have a vision, and so that's what they work for together all the time. And so when I was going in the winter time, I go into the back 9 and I play some with Chris Martin, and the guys just live there. And so we're coming in fresher, a little more fresh. Anyway,
I know what you're saying.
yeah. Anyway, and so we're ready to go. We're tuned up, and I'm seeing lower scores this year than I have previously because it's usually really cold, and we kind of got to get into it. And these guys are already ready to go, and so they already know where their swing's at, what they're trying to work on, and we're just trying to really get our scoring going with wedges, putting, things of that nature.
That's great. So, and again, that's having the extra time because I'm sure we're going to be up. We're going to be up in the largest class again.
Yeah, that's where
and we'll probably head back up towards.
and towards St. Louis, but that's where we want to be because
Yeah.
the guys are like, you know, we got
wanna
beat
run
by
the
school
edge,
last year.
yeah.
We do. Yeah. We
Yeah.
want to get after it.
I
So,
love it. I love it. Yeah, and having that because they're all up there with their simulators, probably in their own houses for those private schools. Let's be honest.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're all that's what they do.
Well, it's like Lafayette and SLU were the people who made it in. And so, you know, us just being Rolla,
Yeah.
I say that, but, you know,
Yeah.
we're coming from way out of town and we got stuff to prove.
Yeah, and I know these, like you said, I love because you've talked before about the importance of having a team led, squad, right? And
Right.
having the kids be part of it, own it, and you've done such a great job of that over the years. Where these kids they're wanting to be out there. You're not having to encourage them to be out there.
Yeah.
They're setting their tone. They're setting their pace. They know what's working. You give a little bit of adjustments here and there to them, a little few nuggets,
Yeah.
and just kind of put them out there. But you want them to feel it. And now we see we're in a spot where they're ready to go.
That's
with a bunch of
exactly
good
it.
guys.
Yeah, that's what I tell the guys. I'm like, when we have the right culture, I coach, but they lead. And Chanson's filled that spot really well. He just comes right in. Chayton left, and Chanson stepped into the spot. And then that's what we kind of look to do is who's going to fill that spot next year. But right now, this year, it's Chanson. He's doing a great job.
And Chance is probably going to lead more by example than with voice, or is he found a little more voice? Because again, the difference, because basically Chayton was always doing all the talking, and that brother relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Chance is a little more subdued, but yeah, he does lead by example, you know. But man, a few words, but what he says matters. And so,
And again, a 3-time state qualifier.
right.
And so
Yeah.
the boys know that, right? And
Right.
they're like,
And-
okay.
Yeah, and he's ready to go. He's dialed. So, you know, he's got a really low 5-stroke average. He's shot under. He shot 1 or 2 over. So his average for 9 holes, I think, is quarter of a stroke over. So it's like 0.25, which is a great place to start the season, especially in this type of weather. Because, you know, last week we played when the wind chill was 33, 34 degrees. And so he still just keeps on firing. But then so do the other guys.
Yeah, that's exceptional for there. So we'll talk about the upcoming matches here. Let's go and jump on our sponsors real quick. Always want to give a shout out to them. We talked about Phelps County Bank being our title sponsor. You can go to mypcb.com, and they do such a great job with all of our community, not just on the sports side, but we really appreciate them there. But they do just overall in the community. Love to have them. And hey, so we got. Let me go back. Let me go this way. So Home Sweet Mo Properties, they're one of our sponsors. Danielle and Jared Jordan, they're proud parents of the Chanson and Chayton, and Jared's the brother of Channy, so kind of a crazy Jordan family. Everybody knows about the Jordans.
Yeah, then on the girl side, you got Brylan and Baylor will be
Yeah.
up there before you know it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is a Jordan Bulldog baseball clan. I have to change the name. So appreciate them being one of our sponsors. They sponsor our Spotlight Edition for the senior signings, senior spotlights, all the stuff we do about alumni and things like that. So appreciate everything they do on that. We already talked about Taylor Chrysler because this is a Coach Talk edition. So appreciate Jeremy Shelton out there doing that. Juan Skills Academy, Kobe Juan's 2 times All-State Bulldog. Don't know if he's much of a golfer or not, but I imagine if he did, he'd be pretty good at that one too. He's got the facility going in out there on Old St. James Road. Excited for them. Jackie Morozowitz in full bloom. Jack Morozowitz, quite the golfer, but he's going to go play football and baseball at Missouri S&T. We joked about it one year about him playing golf instead because he loves to play golf.
Yeah, we talked about Jack, and I don't know if we talked about Jensen too.
Yeah,
I may or may not have tried to recruit both of those gentlemen.
They're both going on to play college baseball.
They'll come to the dark side eventually.
Yeah, they will. They definitely will because you can't play baseball forever, but apparently you can play golf forever. I don't know. I'm not very good at it, so even when I was playing, I wasn't playing with anything there. In season ticket on 104.9 ESPN. JP Maxwell's on there. I'm going to go on there after I get off here, and we'll talk a little bit, talk about the golf team. And so they always like to give a big Bulldog shout out there to them as well. So let's talk about the upcoming season. So we're going to kick it off at Waynesville, which is typically when you kick it off, right?
Right. This Friday.
And it's a quad. Like we said, it's typically Waynesville, us, and then a few of the smaller schools around.
Yeah.
Right? So the Pulaski County.
Right. Yeah. So it's like maybe Lakeway, Iberia, maybe Dixon.
Okay.
You never know who's going to show up.
So we get some in there. So the boys are ready to go.
Yeah.
You've already
Oh
talked
yeah.
about that. They are looking forward to that.
They are ready. So, especially with the 80-degree weather.
Yeah, I know. So it's a little chilly today, but it will be good this weekend. Appreciate that for sure. And then you'll be going to Camden, taking on Camden on the 23rd. Now, is that just a straight match head to head?
Actually, that got canceled due to course availability.
Oh, wow.
But then we follow that up. We come back from spring break and we've got the MSU relays at Payne Stewart.
Yeah.
That's always a good tournament because
Yeah,
we get to see
yeah.
all those Springfield schools we used to see in conference. And then we'll see some other state sites. We'll see Sedalia. We'll see Silo Ridge. And we've got some great tournaments set up for the season.
So do we have some new field or courses we're gonna be playing this year?
It's gonna be standard affair. Golf season's always kind of up in the air because you'll have some last minute drops, some last minute changes. We're gonna try to get a Monette tournament and some other things, but you know, that schedule's pretty volatile for golf. So we're always trying to figure out some new stuff. And
Well, yeah, I guess especially since it's you're going in with groups, a lot of time multiple teams, whether you're in there or not, they can kind of find they just
yeah,
cap
it'd be kind of good if we can find something up in the St. Louis area to see what we're up against with, SLU and Lafayette and all those schools that we battled up against, or we will battle up against at districts.
Get some early.
We suspect.
Yeah, definitely. So then after that'll be great. So we'll have those. We always have the MSU relays. That was one I know Channy really liked again because that was going to be where the state course was that year he played, right?
And the boys play some summer tournaments there, and so they were already talking about it. They're like, Coach, I've got it figured out. So I'm like, that's how golf works. That's how when I'm looking at YouTube videos, I'm like, tomorrow's gonna be the day. I've got it figured out.
Bring out my new putter. Oh yeah. Not happening. So do you have a favorite match from last season? Is there anything that kind of like, hey man, that one right there, I really love that one, the way they battled or the success they had?
I always really like when we go to play Silo Ridge. That Bolivar tournament's exceptional because it's a great course. They have great greens, and there's usually a really strong field there. And so we see Nixon, we see all those really strong Springfield schools at a difficult golf course that's going to be closer to what we'll play at state. Like this year, we play at CCMO up in Columbia. And so it's just a good time to see what we're going to be up against and how those teams stack up this year.
And right off the bat, I mean, you're a couple weeks in, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's good. So, do you have a favorite course? What's the course of all the ones you've had the teams have played on? Do you have a favorite course?
Of regular season tournaments, Silo and Sedalia are always really good. And then of all the ones we've played, when we played state at Dalhousie, that was fantastic. It's a private course and it's exceptional. And that's where we played state at that last year. We were in class 4. And I think that's everybody's favorite that got to play it. So
that's one you're like hoping you can go back there later on, make a connection somewhere. So we already talked. So there's nothing new so far on courses for the team this year, unless something pops up with getting.
Unless something changes,
okay.
Right?
And then, is there a match that you have on the calendar circled? Like, is there anything out there you say, "Oh, I'm ready for that one"?
Actually, there's one that we usually do, and we go up to Osage National and play against Osage and some other teams. But once again, course availability got us this year, and so we aren't able to play that one. That's always a favorite for me and the kids. They love that place, and so we usually play, the river course, the links, and it's just a lot of fun. But unfortunately, this year we don't get to play that one.
No, was that the Arnie Palmer one?
Yeah.
Designed that one? Yeah, I remember when that one went in at the lake. I was still down there at that time. So do you have anything different? Because we talked again about, the younger team coming in. You got 3 sophomores, 2 juniors, and a senior in your top 6, if you will. Anything you're going to do differently with this group as far as practice structure? Any strategies that you're using with this group that might be different from years past?
The only one that we've really talked about is a lot of the kids already have memberships to the back nine. And I said, guys, we talked about going in early, and I said, dial in those wedge distances. If you have time to practice and you can get practice in before and after, dial in those wedge distance. 40, 60, 80, 100. And when we get deadly at those and can put everything within a flag stick, that's when we're going to see those scores drop, because I said, your putts aren't always indicative of how well you're putting, because if you always have 40, 50-foot putts, you're going to have more 3 putts. Now, if you're 3 putting from 10, 12 feet, those are some pretty big issues. That we need to address.
3, 4 putts for me, but that's okay.
But yeah, so I just talked about, there's no free lunch, and we just got to work it.
Yeah.
And so we got to work harder than everybody else because those guys are working hard too.
Yeah.
And I said, but we just got to want it more, and they do.
They do.
And that's the best part is
Yeah.
when you say this stuff and then they just do it. And we just have such an amazing team. And these guys are, and I was talking to the younger guys that aren't as, fluent with golf and are kind of getting into it. And I said, watch those top 5, 6 guys, watch what they do. And I said, that's how we replace the Chaitons and the Channing. Well, you can't replace them, but that's how you get that new crop
Right,
in.
come
And
be their name. Yeah.
and the guys that want to pull in those freshmen say, hey, be a part of the group, and this is how we do it.
I love, and that's the whole thing. I mean, the program you've built here, it's exceptional. We know it, and like I said, now the culture that's there, where it's inclusive, you're bringing them along,
Yeah.
and you're seeing that younger group. Every year it seems like that freshman class has kids that kind of golf, maybe golf a little bit, but they're wanting to golf.
Right.
They want to be part of this
Yeah.
program, and there they are. And now they're all waiting for their turn because you got a crowded field ahead of them, but hey, they all get to play, so that they're having fun with it.
Yeah, it's just great. And so, we've got some other kids, like we got Zack who is a sophomore, who just works endlessly. And then you got some new kids coming up that show a lot of potential. You've got Preston Shenefield, and you've got Ryder Kears. And they've just, they're like, this is what I'm doing now. And I'm like, yeah, welcome.
Welcome. Come over to that side. Man. That's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, hey, I want to thank you for joining us. Good luck on the season. We'll hook back up a couple times throughout the season, get some updates, and we'll kind of celebrate some of those successes, which I know are going to happen along
Yeah,
the way.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Always a good time to hear about the golf. Again, especially something I'm not very good at. So it's always great to hear about other people that are having that success.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give a big shout out again to Inside the Huddle title sponsor, Phelps County Bank, as well as Taylor Chrysler for being this sponsor for Coach Talk. Appreciate them. Want to thank Coach Nixon for being here. Man, best of luck on this Friday and the rest of the season coming up.
Tom, thank you so much.
Always a good time. So for Coach Nixon, I'm Tom Brown from Inside the Huddle to the Heart of the Game. We'll see you next time.